Hello, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Sit down, please. I'd like to speak English today too, to improve my speaking skill. Let's get it started. Today, it is May 16th, 2023. It's on Tuesday and sunny outside. How are you spending Tuesday? How do you like Tuesday? Do you have a work or school today? Or have you got a paid leave? Or have you got a day off today? I hope you are doing well. In order to get excellent score on the test, I usually prepare enough or too much. I used to break my health by preparing a lot before the examinations. I studied until 5 o'clock a.m. at the longest, which was the worst. I was so struggling and I felt so tired, exhausted. Of course, I fell asleep after coming home after the test. But it is the best to study and prepare gradually toward the examination day. I'd like to excel someone else in one thing. I'd like to excel everyone else in one thing. The new type of product excels in longevity. The new version of the product can last 3 years, although the previous one lasted only 2 years. So you can save the money for the same price. Excel. What do you excel? What do you believe you are excel? What do you excel? What do you believe you are excel? What do you think you are excel in? What do you think you are excel in? What do you think you are excel in? I'd like to excel in music. I'd like to excel in music. I'd like to excel in English. I'd like to excel in something. I'd like to excel in something which should be advantage in the society, especially when I search for a job or other criteria to be promoted to upper positions and so on. Excel, 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 excel. I don't excel in everything. I don't excel in everything. There are always people more excellent than me in everything. Test score, running speed, thinking speed, and so on. But I'd like to excel in something. The new type of the product excels the previous model. The new type of the product excels in longevity, life expectancy. The new type of the product excels the previous one. The new type of the product excels the previous one. The new type of the product, newly released recently, excels the previous one. The new version of the product, recently released from the company, excels the previous model, but it is a little bit more expensive. I'd like to excel everyone else in one thing. I'd like to excel in one thing. Nobody can imitate me. I'd like to excel anybody else in one thing which nobody can imitate, mock, mimic. I'd like to excel everyone else in one thing. I'd like to excel. I'm eager to excel. I'm excited to excel everyone else in one thing. I want to excel everyone else in one thing. Excel. Excel. I'd like to excel everyone else. I'd like to excel everyone else. I'd like to excel everyone else in one thing, if possible. The shop excels other shops regarding the prices, quality, and hospitality. That's why many customers are entering. How did you create the excellence, academic excellence? By your effort or effortlessly? We usually create our excellence with a lot of effort, hard working, and so on. Academic excellence will be made by lots of concentration on the study. Academic excellence can be made by studying. The study can be shared with everybody. Everyone can concentrate on the study if they wanna do. So, in that meaning, academic excellence can be made by everybody if they have the interest in that. Or even if they don't have the interest in studying, if they are forced to study, they can achieve academic excellence, I think. Excellence. excellence. Excellence won't be made in a day. Academic excellence can be made by lots of effort, focus, concentration on it. Whenever I come across difficulties and sluggish moments without progress, I get frustrated. Whenever I am confronted with difficulties and sluggish, non-productive days without progress, I get frustrated, irritated. Making a daily progress toward our dream is better. Stacking up a lot of efforts only in a day. Making a daily progress can be difficult. Even with practice, our level can decline. But in the process of our practice, our level will go up gradually, totally. But there are sometimes when the level will go down, even with practice. In the process of go up and down, our level will go up in the end. Progress. Make a progress. I'd like to make progress in my English study level, pronunciation, vocabulary, and so on. Make progress. Make progress. Do you think you are making progress in your duty? Do you think you are making progress in the one you are working on? Do you think you are making progress in the one you are working on? Progress. Make progress. The society, the world made great progress in especially technologies. The world made great progress in especially technology. Now that we have the internet, we can get in touch with people in the world very easily, which is awesome. I wish I could make great progress as you in the mathematics. I wish I could make as fast progress as the genius pianist. I wish I could make as fast, quick progress as a genius pianist. I wish I could make fast, great progress as a genius people in everything. I wish I could as great progress as a genius pianist. I wish I could as make progress as genius pianist. I wish I could become as quick and great progress as a genius pianist. I wish I could make as fast progress as a genius pianist. I wish I could make as fast progress as genius pianist. If only I could make as fast progress as genius pianist. I wish I could make as fast progress as a genius pianist. Make progress. Make progress. Making no progress. Making great progress. The bright time in the day is expanding daily in progression towards summer. The bright time in the day is getting longer in progression. If there is no progression in my practice, I get frustrated. But there are some times when I can't have the progression in the field I'm working on, I belong to. Whenever I am faced with no progression, I get frustrated, irritated, depressed sometimes. Whenever I am confronted with no progression, I get irritated, frustrated, mad. Progression, 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 progression. Progression, in progression, in progression. The bright time in the day is getting longer in progression towards summer, in progression. Progression, in progression. In progression. The common senses we regard normal might be not common sense in the future, in progression. The common senses we regard normal might be regarded as crazy in the future, in progression. Let's see, I don't know. The common senses we regard as normal right now, might be regarded as crazy in the future, in progression. In progression. The experiments might work in theory, but in effect, in practice, it might not work. The experiment might work in theory, but in practice, it might not work. In progression, gradually, little by little. Things will aged. Things will be aged and needed to be changed. Needed to be changed with new one. Devices will get aged in progression and they need to be changed with a new one. Devices and other things will get aged and needed to be changed with a new one in progression. The popularity of someone will decline, will go down in progression. The value we put what we put the value on right now might not be valued in the future. The things we put the value on now might not be put in the future in progression. The things we put emphasis on right now might not be put emphasis on in progression in the future. In progression. I try to have a progressive daily life. I try to have a progressive practice every day. I'd like to have a step forward, even if it is a very small step daily. I try to have a progressive practice every day so that I can have a progress even if it is a small step. Progressive. 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 Progressive practice. Progressive study. Progressive training. Progressive new employee training. Progressive. I try to have a progressive day in practice. I try to have a progressive day as at least in one thing. I try to have a progressive day in at least one thing. I try to have a progressive day, especially at least in one thing. Progressive. There are sometimes we cannot have a progressive day, or our level even sometimes go down with practice, even with practice. Progressive. A progressive writer. Progressive technology. Progressive medical technology. Progressive our knowledge. Progressive AI knowledge. Progressive writer. A progressive philosopher. A progressive teacher. A progressive children. Progressive data. Progressive technologies. Progressive writer. A progressive writer. A progressive writer. A progressive writer. Progressive writer. A progressive writer. Are you a progressive writer? I'd like to have a progressive day. I try to be progressive daily, gradual, little by little, in progression. Progressive. What do you think of the progressive taxation? Progressive taxation. It is one of the ways to divide the money, wealth, fairly, evenly. I'm not expert, so I don't know in detail. But from my objective viewpoint, the progressive taxation is one of the ways to divide the wealth fairly. The more progressive taxation is a system in which the more you earn, the more you have to pay the taxation, right? But if the progressive taxation is too much, the rich people might go to other countries, so-called tax havens, to avoid paying a lot of taxes. So there are problems. The system has a problem too. Everything has merits and demerits. Progressive taxation. Progressive taxation. Progressive. Progressive. A progressive writer. Progressive taxation. Progressive taxation. What do you think of progressive taxation? How do you say? What do you say to progressive taxation? From my point of view, from my viewpoint, from my standpoint, progressive taxation is a way to divide the wealth fairly. But I'm not an expert, so I don't know in detail. As far as I know, progressive taxation is a system in which the more you earn, the more you have to pay the taxation. If the progressive taxation is too much, some people might move to other countries, which are so-called tax haven, in order to avoid paying much taxes. Progressive taxation. Progressive taxation. Progressive taxation. Progressive taxation. Progressive. Awesome robots might be invented progressively. Awesome future will be waiting for us progressively. AI and robots might take over the world progressively. I don't know. AI and robots will replace us as new workers progressively. It might not be avoidable. It might be inevitable. AI and robots and machines will replace us as new workers progressively, in progression, progressively. AI, robots, and machines will replace us as new workers. Replace us as new workers progressively. AI, robots, and machines will replace us as new workers progressively. 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 In progression. Progressively. 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 In progression. Progressively. Progressively. In progression. Progressively. Progressively. The common senses we regard, view, see as normal now might be regarded as crazy in the future, progressively. Our common senses we regard as normal will change with time, progressively, progressively. The common sense we regard as normal now will change gradually, progressively. The common sense we view as normal now will change progressively, 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 in progression, progressively, progressively, progressively. The common sense we view as normal will change with time, progressively, progressively, progressively. Please clarify your decision by Friday night, and let's work on the duty. Please clarify your decision by Friday night. It won't be until February that the exam result is announced. It won't be until February the exam result is announced. It won't be until next February that the exam result is announced. It wasn't until yesterday that the amendment of the examination was announced. Clarify, 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 clarify. Let's clarify the exact date when we should leave our office. Let's clarify the exact date when we meet. Otherwise, we end up taking much time until the sun goes down. Clarifying our appearance without wearing off mask might be embarrassing after the pandemic, because we used to hide our face by wearing a mask for a long time. So clarifying our face by wearing off a mask might be difficult for a long time, for a time being, for a while, for the time being. It clarified that the company had been involved in the wrongdoings. It was clarified that the company had been involved in the wrongdoings. The wrongdoings clarified thanks to on account of owing to the internal accusation of the employees. The cracks on the machine clarified during the inspection by the specialist. Yes. The cracks on the machine body clarified during the regular inspection by the specialist. The cracks on the body of the machine clarified clarified during the monthly investigation by the specialists. Without the monthly regular inspections, the machine might have broken down, much earlier. If it had not been for the monthly regular inspection by the specialists, the machine would have been broken down much earlier. But thanks to the monthly regular inspection by the specialist, the machine is still working. Mm. Mm. The wrongdoing in the company clarified by the internal accusation of the pre-worker. Clarification of what you want to do in your life can be very difficult to choose until we enter the society. I think most of the people make it clear what they want to do in their life after entering the society. It is best that we clarify what we want to do in our future before entering the society during our school days. Clarification, 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 clarification. 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 Which route to take, which restaurant we eat at, which public transportation we take, a must do before the tour as a preparation. Clarification of the date, public transportation, accommodation, the route we take is very necessary. Clarification of what to do. Clarification. 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 Clarification of which public transportation to take, which accommodation to stay, what time we should leave, are very important, necessary, imperative, indispensable. Clarification of what you don't know beforehand will make the tour more successful. Clarification of the information of the company, store, or shops are one feature to make customers relieved. I was surprised at the clarity of the water of the Kabila Bay. Clarity. Clarity of the pronunciation is varied well beyond the fluency in the speaking test of the examination. Clarity of the duty without making a mistake is more assessed in the company. Clarity of time. Clarity of time of my watch. Clarity is put emphasis on for me to choose the watch. When it comes to choosing which watch to buy, I put emphasis on the clarity of the time, because if I cannot recognize the time clearly, it will lose my precious time, and the difficulty understanding the time will get me frustrated too. Clarity. When it comes to choosing which clock I buy, I put emphasis on the clarity of the time, in which I easy to understand the time clearly. Clarity of the wearable watch. Clarity of the wall clock. Clarity of the weather. Clarity of the view. I hope the perfect clarity of the view from the observatory today. I hope there is no fog and mist. Clarity clarity of his prediction is as high as 90% all the time. How high is the clarity of his information? How high is the clarity? How high is the clarity of his information? His information is usually as high as about 80%. Sometimes his prediction fails, but most of the time his prediction is correct. Clarity. How high is the clarity of his information? His prediction, expectation, anticipation. How high is his clarity of his prediction, anticipation, prediction, expectation? How high is the clarity of his prediction? How high is his clarity? How high is the clarity of his prediction? Clarity. Clarity. When it comes to when it comes to choosing which watch to buy, Clarity. I put emphasis on the clarity. When it comes to choosing which clock to buy, I put emphasis on the clarity of the watch. I mean, the one easy to recognize the time. When it comes to choosing which clock to buy, I put emphasis on the clarity of the time. I mean, the one with which I can easily to understand the time. Clarity. The prosecutors think a couple of more people have something to do with the incidents. The prosecutors predict that there are a couple of people having something to do with the incident. The suspect insisted that he had little to do with the accident. The suspect insisted that he had nothing to do with the incident. Everything will fluctuate, including our good and bad fortune, good day and bad days, stocks, money exchange rate, and so on. Everything will fluctuate. Nothing will go plateau forever. Fluctuate. Everything will fluctuate. Everything will fluctuate, including exchange rate, economy, our mood, weather, and so on. Everything will fluctuate, 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 fluctuate. I took a ship fluctuating so high. I took a ferry fluctuating so wildly during the inclement weather. I once took a ferry fluctuating so hugely. The fluctuation of everything may be inevitable. Everything will inevitably fluctuate. Fluctuation. Fluctuation of the economy. Fluctuation of stock prices. Fluctuation of the cryptocurrency. Fluctuation of our mood. Fluctuation of our mood. Fluctuation. Fluctuation of our mood. Some people have very tense fluctuation of the mood. He is a guy of intense fluctuation of the mood. He soon gets angry. He suddenly gets angry or happy. Do you also want to get out of the inflation of the society? Inflation is affecting me as well as you. The inflation is having an effect on me as well as you. I, as well as you, are influenced by the inflation, affected by the inflation, had an effect by the inflation. I, as well as you, had an effect on by the inflation. I used to inflate the balloon with my breath, with my breath. I used to balloon by breathing out my breath into the balloon. I used to inflate the balloon by breathing out my breath. But there are tools to inflate the balloon automatically, easily. Inflate. Is there any idea to inflate the economy very well, in a good way, economically? A lot of supplies of the money, currency, will inflate the prices of the products, right? As far as I know, a lot of supplies and low interest rates will inflate the value of prices of the commodities, merchandise goods. As far as I know, I don't know the exact reason why, and this might be different. This might be wrong, but as far as I know, if there are much of supplies of money and with low interest rates, the prices, the situation will inflate the prices of merchandises instead. There was a guy who didn't watch TV on Friday to inflate his expectation on Saturday. There was a guy who didn't watch TV on Friday so as to inflate his expectation on Saturday. Inflating our expectation before going trip might be the biggest happiness. Inflating our expectation, imagining swimming in the beach or eating delicious food like sushi during the travel, might be the best thing. We feel happiest, I think. Because it is said we feel happiest when we expect something, happy thing. It is said we feel happiest we are expecting something good. Inflating our expectation before our trip might be the thing we feel happiest. Inflating our expectation before traveling might be the way we feel happiest in. Inflating our expectation before our trip to somewhere will be the one we feel happiest. Are you good at inflating your imagination? Those who are good at inflating imagination will be strong in this society, in this world, creative world. And those who are good at inflating their imagination will be strong in the creative world, creative field. Inflate. 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 I hope the society will go out of the recession. When the new governor has been inaugurated, the vice governor and other executives seceded from the positions. About 70% of the examinees succeed from the first stage of the test by failing. The examination is divided into two parts, the paper one and the speaking test. Only those who have passed the paper test can go on to the next speaking test. And at the first stage of the examination, the paper test, about 70% of the examinees succeed by failing. Only 30% of the examinees can go on to the next stage of the speaking test. So you can know how difficult the examination is. You need a lot of preparation. I remember killing our time on under the eave until the heavy rain recede, alleviate, relieve, recede. It is also good to recede from the declining trend of the stock market or exchange rate before the loss becomes bigger. It is also important to recede from the declining trend of the stock market or exchange rate before the loss becomes bigger. The reason why I receded from the club activity was that I couldn't study at all because of the tiredness and exhaustion after the practice every day. I needed to practice every day in the hall, which made me exhausted, ending up no study at all. So this is the reason why I receded from the club activity. Recede, recede, recede. Although many people have been receding from the business, I've been still working on it. Although many other people have been receding from the field, I've been still working on it because I love it. About 70% of the examinees are said to recede from the paper examination. Only 30% of the examinees who have passed the examination can go on to the next stage of speaking test. I didn't want to recede from my dreams, so I stayed in the city for another year before coming back to my home country. The festival is held in spring so that they can yield a lot of crops and harvests for the year. The farmers are hoping to yield a lot of vegetables, crops. The farmers are hoping to yield a lot of crops. Some companies yield the most profits during the pandemic. And some companies, even during the recession, during the pandemic, yield the largest profits. Even during the pandemic, some companies yield the largest profits ever. Even during the pandemic, some companies yield the largest income, largest profits. And even during the pandemic, some companies yielded the largest profits. Even during the pandemic, some companies yielded the largest profits. How much do the farmers usually yield? How much rice do the farmers usually yield at every year? How much do the farmers working around this area yield? How much rice do the farmers living here yield every summer? How much rice? How much amount of rice do the farmers living around here yield? And how much amount of rice do the farmers living around here yield? There are many temptations on my way to and from the school, and I sometimes or frequently yield to the temptation and enter the shops. I know I should go straight home to study. I know I should directly go home to study. I often yield to temptation from the stores and ending up entering the stores. Don't yield to criticism from others. Go your own way. I will not yield to criticism from others. I will go my own way. No matter who criticizes me, no matter what happens, no matter where I live, no matter when I start. I will not yield to temptation, criticisms, scammings, and so on. Don't yield to criticisms. 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 It can be dangerous to watch a food program in the middle of the night because we might yield to the temptation ending up eating a lot of food. It can be dangerous to watch a food program in the night, midnight, because we might yield to the temptation of eating food. How much yield do the farmers expect this year? How much yield do you expect? How much yield are you expecting this year, this summer? How much yield are you expecting this year? Because of the dropping yen, the company is expecting higher profit, benefit, yield. Because of the dropping yen, the company, exporting company is anticipating higher yield. Are you mad at sluggish movement of the car running in front of you? Have you experienced? I'm sure you have experienced irritation coming from the sluggish car running from in front of you. I'm sure you have experienced being irritated by the sluggish car in front of you. I'm sure you have experienced the irritation. I'm certain that you have experienced the irritation coming from the sluggish car running in front of you. Sluggish economy, sluggish sales, sluggish sales figures should be improved by the excellent CEO executives. Sluggish movement as slow as turtle. I'm super slow and sluggish. I'm super slow and as sluggish as a turtle in the morning. I am as sluggish as turtle in the morning. Sluggish movement, sluggish economy. The sluggish economy should be improved by drastic measures, thorough measures, incredible measures, unbelievable measures, tremendous measures, extraordinary measures. Sluggish. I can be as sluggish as the turtle in the morning. I am as sluggish as turtle in the morning. I am as sluggish as turtle in the morning. My computer is sometimes sluggish, which irritates me. Do you have the same problem as me? Computers can be as sluggish. Computers can sluggish because of for some reasons, maybe oldness or flaws, faulty in it, defect in it. Because of the defect, flaw, faulty in it, fault. My computer is sometimes sluggish for a reason, maybe the oldness or there is something wrong with it. There is something wrong in it. Okay, I will finish speaking here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. See you!